What's going on, people? Welcome to Members Only. I hope everyone's having a good night. I hope everyone's having a good week. Tonight, we're going to talk about a video that I dropped the other day. It was about AZ, the jukebox joint that he ran on 145th, and then he passed it down to Alpo and Big J. We all talked about how it was a gold mine. It was a lot of money being generated. And a lot of people got in their feelings when I read the comments, which don't bother me. I'm just here to basically tell y'all that this is what I do. I talk about the ups and downs. I talk about the good and bad. When it comes to Alpo, I did give him his props. I did give him props on his hustle. I did talk about how he was trying to make it up in the game, and basically he was picked over a couple times until they give him a chance. Now in the comments, a lot of people will say that I was glorifying a rat. And I kind of find it funny because once I talked about how he was moving when it came to Dementio and how he was on some sucker shit, then I was an Alpo hater. So which one is going to be? Now, let me tell you one thing. I can't control what these guys did back in the past. I just speak on their actions. So if Alpo was getting fly, if Alpo was getting women, and if he had great hustle, I'm going to say that. Now, if he's on some sucker shit and he's doing some slimy stuff, I'm going to speak on that also. Now, I can't be biased when it comes to this. This is what I do. I just share my opinions. So I talk about the good and I talk about the bad. And I probably do discuss 97% of the things people already know in this crime genre. And I just share my opinion. I let you guys share y'all opinion, and we just all fall back and continue on doing what we have to do. That's my video is really not that long. But you have guys that get mad because they're big Alpo fans and they want to learn stuff new. They want to know what he ate for breakfast every day. They want to know how big was his pipe. They want to know all types of stuff that they think they're going to learn from this channel. Like if I was going to drop something exclusive, it's going to say exclusive. And I do have some people in the comments that said, hey, I never heard of this, which is a plus, just like I said. So just have some respect for the people that didn't hear it. If you heard it before, just move on. You don't have to click the video. Like how many times that you saw Friday, how many times that you saw Boys in the Hood, and you sat there and say, hey, this is a classic, so you're gonna watch it. Like once in a while, it's good to have these type of memories and these type of discussions. When your homeboy come through, y'all sitting back, y'all probably have a drink, y'all reminisce about the past, and y'all laugh about old stories. That's just something that comes up. When you go on Instagram, you might see an old picture of Guy Fisher or Nicky Barnes, and you might say, oh, this was a classic photo. I forgot about this photo. So man, y'all clowns need to chill. Now, when it comes to Alpo, Richard Porter come up, and when it comes to Richard Porter, Alpo comes up because they had the same story. Now, when you bring up the grimy stuff that Alpo did to Rich Porter, you have some Alpo fans that come out and will air out Rich Porter. Like there was a couple of Alpo fans that told me like, hey, Richard Porter, he bought a car when his little brother was kidnapped, like during that situation. And a lot of it's questionable. We don't know if it's true. And then you have a lot of people that question the way Rich Porter was acting. Like he was in a good mood, he was laughing, he was joking around during that period. But a lot of people don't deal with things the same. Like you got some strong people in this world that chin up, chest out. A lot of people just don't sit down and pout and just be sad and be weak. Life goes on. You're talking about a guy that was a young boy that had to get off the steps and make some money. He was in grown man situations. Like there was no time to be crying. There was no time to sit there and feel bad. He had to make something happen. He had to get up and get that money because they wasn't asking for no change, like no petty cash. They was talking about $500,000, and then it went down to $300,000. So that's just what the stuff he was going through during that time. So how dare you just come out of nowhere and tell a person how he's supposed to be during the situation? Just because you would have probably been weak and you would have been in the house, you probably wouldn't have came outside. That don't mean that's how he's supposed to deal with it. Now, another thing these pro-life and these Alpo fans like to bring up is that Donnell Porter had multiple hospital visits due to Rich Porter cooking inside the crib. Now, of course, if you cook and work inside the crib, that stuff got inside his system. He's a young bull, so that caused multiple hospital visits. Just like I said, I don't know if it's 100% true. It could be true, it could be not. Now, does that make Richard Porter a bad guy? Because Richard Porter was a kid himself, so he could have been ignorant to the fact that a little boy couldn't handle all of that. Plus, we all make mistakes. I wouldn't call him a bad guy. Just like I say, he was a kid himself. And Donnell was his dog, according to everything that I heard. So I don't think he would try to harm him. Like his intentions wasn't to harm his little brother. He loved his little brother so much. So you know, I can't be biased on either end. Like they all was kids at the end of the day. They all make mistakes. Now, when it comes to mistakes, let's talk about it, because they all was young bulls. They all was at 21, 22. So they was young kids making mistakes out in the streets. They was gangsters. They was out selling work. They was out taking lives. Now, let's talk about the situation that Alpo was in, because Alpo was in a couple of situations. He was in a situation where they was trying to kidnap him, and he was actually hit up. So I think that caused him to become as ruthless, because he grew a mindset that he had to get them before they get him. Now, let's just say Richard Porter was put in the same positions as Alpo. You think Richard Porter would have done the same thing, or you think he would have did things differently? Because I did hear a couple stories on Richard Porter, and Richard Porter was a pretty smart guy. And I heard stories that he had to do what he had to do in the streets, as far as him owing dudes money, and he used to duck dudes, so he burned a couple dudes in the streets, but that's a different story. Now, let's put Rich Porter in a situation where he was looking at life in prison, and he had an opportunity to tell on someone else. Now, I'm not trying to put this on his name, but do you think he would have stood tall? Because he hasn't been tested. And what do I mean when I say he hasn't been tested? As in, he hasn't been in that situation. He did a year stretch, so he did some time. Alpo did time too. But when you're looking at letters instead of numbers, when they hit you with that elbow, that's a different story, especially if you're as young as them. Like, you thinking about the woman, you gotta sit in the same cell as another man, you gotta smell another man's. That's just different, man. I wouldn't wish that on no man. So just like I said, Rich Porter was pretty smart. Now, when it comes to Alpo actions, there was a lot of justifications. A lot of people like to justify his moves. As far as Rich Porter, they said Rich Porter was holding out on some bricks. They said Wayne Perry was going to come after him. If he didn't get Wayne Perry would have got him. So a lot of people like to justify Alpo snitching on Wayne Perry, because they said as soon as Wayne Perry would have found his stash, he would have took Alpo out. Now, that's something we don't know. Anyway, a lot of Wayne Perry fans, they might say free Wayne Perry. And they might say I'm glorifying Alpo in my videos. But these are the same people that made Alpo famous. Every topic that's involving Alpo, they get a lot of views. Alpo is a popular topic. When it comes to Alpo, he will drop something, like a book will come out involving Alpo. These same guys that hate him, that love Wayne Perry, will go out and spend their money on that book. But when it comes to Wayne Perry sitting in that hole and sitting in that jail cell, not a single person put money on his books. So tell me how that sounds. That sounds a little crazy, don't it? The guy that's sitting back in a jail cell doing life, that stood tall, that y'all glorifying and saying he stand up and that he have morals, which is he don't, because of stuff he was doing on the streets. But the same guy that had morals and all that stuff, sitting back in a jail cell, gets nothing. But y'all give all the attention to Alpo, man. Make it make sense, man. So, man, just let me know in the comments y'all opinion, man, because this BS has to stop. A lot of people gotta stop being groupies out here. A lot of people just gotta just sit back and just chill, just enjoy the video, and just share your opinions, man, and stop being biased, because I'm not biased over here. But, you know, that's it for now, man. If you're new, subscribe to the channel, turn your notifications on, let me know what y'all think in the comments. And you already know, hit that like button. I appreciate everyone for tuning in. I'm out.